going into AEP, there was so much going on with COVID and elections, all that stuff. It's really seems like a much better time to get something out now.
Yeah. Well, and especially, talking about direct mail, with it being a little bit more difficult to do community events due to COVID, the direct mail for DSNP's really heating up. Good morning, insurance agents of the senior market. Welcome back to this Friday morning edition of Near and Far. It's January 22nd. Joined by Rob Turnbull. How are we doing today?
Oh, very good. Thanks for having me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to the NFL playoff games this weekend. Are you excited, or are you just kind of casual about it?
No. Once the Steelers are out, I lose a little bit of the drive, but always excited to watch the season close out. Especially this one. I can't believe that they've made it this far.
Yeah. Well, I think the two big storylines are, is Mahomes going to play?
Yeah.
And please, Green Bay, please, all of our friends in Wisconsin, I'm rooting so hard for you so that Tom Brady cannot get back to another championship game. I just don't know that I can deal with it.
Yeah, nip that in the bud now, and we'll call it for Tom Brady. Nice career.
Yeah. But regardless of who wins the games this weekend, I'm really excited for February 7th for the big game. And it's not even so much about the football game, it's about the commercials.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be always the best time. I've probably already seen about 500 commercials for the weekend, actually doing the halftime show, too. So,
yeah. So do you think we should tell the viewers?
We could give a little snippet.
Okay, so really exciting announcement. Make sure that you are tuning in on February 7th during the big game to watch the Neishloss and Fleming commercial. Boom. Wait, hold on, mushroom cloud. That's right. We will have a commercial during the big game on February 7th. Make sure to check it out. It may or may not be more exciting than the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Depends on how the game is. But you're going to love what we're bringing to the table. So, hey, but enough football talk. Let's kind of get into what our viewers are usually here for, which is insurance information. Let's talk about DSNP a little bit. Do you feel like with AEP turning to January, do you feel like the DSNP is starting to heat up again?
It is DSNP season with the changes that they made last year for no DSNP sales. That special election period is not available during AEP. I feel like it's a really good opportunity to focus on those folks right now. I mean, it's now's the time.
Yeah, and usually what we see coming out of AEP, at least what I typically see, is the page turns to January 1, and we're back at work, like first work day, and then it may be like January 7th or 10th when the brokers are finally just like, okay, I've got AEP out of my system, I've got my holiday break, I've rested, I've recovered. Now I want to go back to meeting some new clients and making some money. Are you seeing that in your markets across the country? Is in terms of not just one market, but all across the place and picking up?
Yeah, starting to get a lot of late orders put in, things like that. Working with our vendors to coordinate with the agents to get mail out and get it to these folks because going into AEP there was so much going on with COVID and elections, all that stuff. It's really seems like a much better time to get something out now.
Yeah. Well, and especially, talking about direct mail, with it being a little bit more difficult to do community events due to COVID, the direct mail for DSNP's really heating up. So if you have any questions about what your direct mail strategy should be for dual special needs plans, make sure to reach out to Rob, to Kristen, to Josh, whoever it is you're working with at our office, and talk to them about some time-tested strategies that we've got for you, specific to building your DSNP mailer to really perform for you.
And you're right. I mean, pretty much, retail events, different coordinated events like that right now are kind of off the table until you can really get COVID under wraps, and mail's going to be your best strategy at this juncture.
Although that's an interesting point because I was just on a call with Aetna last night. And haven't had a chance to talk to you guys yet about it, but they were talking to us about their community relationship managers out booking events.
Yeah.
So it may be that community events are starting to open up in various areas all across the country. So that's something that's going to be an emerging topic for us that we'll be bringing to you. Maybe we should get someone from Aetna on next week.
couldn't hurt.
Sit in. Yeah, okay. I'll see if I can dial it up and make that happen. So, but you and I were talking on the way in when we were talking about the show today about Cincinnati. So what's going on there? Either specific to MAPD or DSNP, or what are you kind of hearing about that market?
I mean, on the DSNP market, it seems like it's going to be a really hot spot coming through lock-in this year.
Okay.
There's a ton of players in the market, which, when you have competition, the plans build and plans build and plans build. And, they're always competing for that same group of member. Have a really good rate of MA and DSNP penetration. So people are aware that the plans are out there. And it's just a matter of, you as an agent knowing which plans are going to win out if you have that particular member in front of you.
Yeah, and you're right, I think, about Cincinnati in general, that number one, it is a really good MA market. Like, there are some markets across the country where MA just isn't taking off, but Cincinnati is not one of those. And the other thing that Cincinnati has always been a really good brokerage market. Right. Like, there's not a ton of captive agents there. Like, it's a market where as an independent agent you can be really successful. So I think that's a perfect storm. So who are the major players in Cincinnati right now? Like, talking about DSNP, because we started out talking about dual special needs plans. Like, who are you seeing that's really kicking tail out there, or at least positioned really well for 2021?
So there is a ton of parity out there, which is really good. But the two that have really stood out, as we were going through all the different trainings last year, are really going to be, as we roll into AEP with the new product lines, we're Anthem and UnitedHealthcare, and looking at the CMS documentation, those plans are really starting to pick up.
And I know Humana and WellCare are very, very good in that market as well.
Yeah, and still, and with WellCare, they have a Centene, even though they had merged each other, individual plans out there too. So there's roughly, I think there's 7 different DSNP plans in that particular market, with, like I said, with a ton of different parity.
Yeah. Well, and these are the 4 that I feel like I'm hearing about all the time from talking to our agents and agencies. Interestingly enough, it seems like, you're talking about parity. It seems like from a network perspective, they generally are playing with the same network.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you start to talk about plans in a vacuum, as you start to eliminate network issues and you start to eliminate certain other things, it really leaves with a few standouts. So they can operate on benefits rather than restricted by network.
Right. Yeah. So I think you were starting to say UHC and Anthem. You think or the two that are just kind of slightly more competitive than the rest there. Like, what's making them unique? What's really kind of driving that standout position that you're seeing?
So doubling back, when we look at the things that stand out, because for a DSNP consumer, they don't have that same cost share that a normal, typical MA consumer would have. So, all the plans in the area, including these, most of the plans are going to have over $250 a quarter in OTC. We're always looking at transport. Every carrier's got at least 24 out there. We have $2,500 at least in dental, and vision and hearing benefits as well, stacked on top of that. And that's just kind of the baseline. So that's where we're really sitting flat. Where Anthem's really standing out is they have 125 trips in their transportation benefit.
I'm sorry. I'm going to do this for the viewers because I don't think did you say 125 trips as part of the plan?
Yes, they have 125 trips as part of the plan.
How do you even use that many?
I was going to say, I haven't been to the doctor probably that many times in the last 5 years, so.
Well, I certainly hope not.
Yes.
Like, when would you come to work if you were going that many times? No, but let's break this down. So, like, 125 transportations, are those one ways?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. So that's still like, is that 5 round trips a month?
Mm-hmm.
That's more than 5 round trips a month because 5 round trips would be 10. 10
right.
times 12 is 120, and you still have 5 left over.
Exactly.
Like, now is their transportation, is it broader than just going to the doctor or going to the pharmacy? Because, like, can you take that to the grocery store? Can you take it to, like, Aunt Edna's house? Like,
no, I know that's a benefit that's been built into a lot of different plans. I need to dig a little bit deeper on that. But I do believe you can use it for Like you can't use it to go to the casino, but use it for.
Why not? Every time I go to the casino, that's where the Medicare recipients are.
Hey, I guess that's a good place to market. But you just gotta find a doctor that's right next to the casino, and then you're set.
I'll tell you what's really interesting. Just the sideline a second on the casino subject. Like every time we've been planning AEP sales events, and we think, where is it that Medicare recipients are going to want to go? The first answer we always get is casinos. And the carriers used to be like, oh, I don't know that we want to do it at a casino. Like, maybe that sends the wrong message. And for a couple years, we kept pitching to them like, hey, we want to do these, we want to do these. And they're like, no. You know what they're all doing right now? Now, granted, they didn't do them this year during COVID.
Right.
Last year in AEP, they're all at the casinos.
Yep.
So I guess they kind of got over that. But
they must have followed suit with us after we had the Insight meeting there a few years back.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So Anthem's rolling with 125 transportation. What else is kind of standing out from the crowd there?
The 305 per quarter over-the-counter benefit is kind of the top shelf right there. That's really, they're giving more out in OTC benefits, and
That's a lot.
people are, again, it's another benefit that's becoming more utilized as people have been aware of it and have been on these plans for a couple years. Wasn't that long ago that the over-the-counter benefits kind of came out.
Yeah.
So I think people were getting a little bit more accustomed to, hey, I can get all this stuff. What can I get? When can I get it? How do I get it?
So yeah, and I think we're seeing the start of that sort of awareness transition. We're starting to see that on the conventional MAPD product because we're starting to see over-the-counter benefits on there more now. But the dual eligibles, it's probably been around for a little longer.
Right.
All right. So that's kind of the high points on Anthem and what's making it stand out with their dual product. What about UnitedHealthcare?
And with United, I mean, the biggest chunks that they really have are going to be their hearing benefit. UnitedHealthcare has always really been really good with that, with the philosophy that if a member can hear their doctor better, they're going to listen to them better. If you can't hear what your doctor's saying and they're giving you this long list of complicated things and you're just yeah, and you're not,
yeah, I feel good.
Yeah, and so you're not catching any of that. Right, it's going to have a better overall health outcome. Yep. And they're right behind Anthem in their $300 per quarter OTC benefit.
Right.
So they're right below that line. And historically, as we know, the actual the consumer management, UnitedHealthcare takes, probably the best care of their consumers that are in the D-SNP market as far as outreach and that model of care.
Yeah, their clinical care model was really best in class, and I think that's what's driven their retention to be so high on their D-SNP product. I mean, we've had we've had periods of time here or there where we've had carriers who are better or worse at that retention element. United is the best.
Yeah,
I mean they just really are. And I think other carriers are catching up to them, but and I think that's part of the reason why when you see another carrier start a D-SNP plan, what do? They go out and hire people who used to work at United in their D-SNP model to say, hey, how's United doing it? I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel here. Like, let's figure out what this model is and try to implement it.
And it's an interesting market too, because with this is probably the first year that the things have been really broadened. So I'm excited to see what comes out next year when they do filings, coming into 2022, because the definition of what you can actually add to your benefits is going to be really interesting. Was what I think was Anthem in New York a couple years ago added like exterminator benefits and things like that were kind of unimaginable. But things like that can really be beneficial if you're in a particular situation.
Yeah. So I feel like just to kind of wrap up on Cincinnati on D-SNP, you've got United, Humana, WellCare, and Anthem that really are doing well. A lot of their benefits are the same, but the two that are really standing out are Anthem with that big time transportation benefit, and United with that much larger than the competition hearing aid benefit.
Right, absolutely. And I think knowing the plans is the key. So if there's someone out there who has a question on that market or any other market, a lot of times sitting in my office analyzing data from different markets, seeing which one stands up, and that's really a lot of times what you need to know to beat it. If you got someone who's on a D-SNP plan that only has 25 transports, and they're like, I'm burning these up in the first quarter, what's going on? And you can get them something that has 5 times that many, that's going to be your win. So, reach out to us, talk to us, which that's really what we're here for, to help, analyze that information and get it to you so you can make sales.
Yeah, so if you're working in southwestern Ohio and you don't have Rob's contact information, I'm going to wave my magic hand, and Ryan's going to put Rob's email address right here in between us. You got to make sure you hit him up and get involved in that D-SNP market in Cincinnati. And just the last note on the transportation benefit, I've driven through Cincinnati a couple times over the last year. I would want someone to drive me. I wouldn't want to be driving myself. It seemed like everywhere I was going, there was construction everywhere. It was just wild. And I'm glad that they're doing construction and they're making the roads better. But if I was a dual eligible, I'd be like, come and pick me up.
Yeah, you just sit on Facebook. All right, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, hey, thanks for joining me today. We'll have to circle back up after the weekend and see how the games played out. But just remember, February 7th, during the big game, check out the commercial coming to you from Neishloss and Fleming. You will love it. It will be awesome. So, this has been Rob. I'm Bill, and this has been Near and Far. We'll see you. Thank you.